Hi guys, what's going on? So today I have not really, I wouldn't call it serious, but it's kind of up there as a topic. So, as you see by the title, there's this thing called selective mutism. And what it basically is like it's a fear of talking, basically. Like this uncontrollable phobia. So when someone speaks to you, that you're just like in a shell and you just can't respond back. And it's extreme shyness, but it actually has a name. It's also like social phobia. So why am I talking about this? It's because I have it. You may or may not know, because probably not, because you don't know me, but I was like, well, I'm just reading this thing and figured, well, it's kind of a big deal when you think about it, but not a lot of people tend to think it is, because, oh, she's just shy, it's all. Well, it's not that. If you're a parent out there and your child is like extremely shy, with blank expression, it's like, you know, very talkative at home, but absolutely refuses to talk outside of home, even to like those relatives that don't live with you or anyone that doesn't live with you. You should see like a psychologist for them, or just talk to someone about it, because it may be this. So it's also extreme anxiety, basically, and it's just hard to deal with. And if you're someone out there who has it, I feel you, because I've had it all my life, all 15 years, basically, as far as I know. And it's just a hard thing to deal with. When you think about your childhood, like in preschool, I didn't talk with anyone. Everyone was over here, I was over here. It's basically like that. So right now, I'm on this. Now, I'm not a parent yet, so, you know, but I'm glad that this was found out, because, well, otherwise we would just never know. So I'm on this website, and it says Selective Mutism Group, Childhood Anxiety Network, speaking out for our children. And right now I'm going to be like kind of discussing what this is about, the top 10 myths about selective mutism. So supposedly, it was first described 125 years ago by a German doctor that I cannot pronounce. His last name starts with a K. At least I think it's his last name. I'm just going to read this little sentence. In reading through the sparse body of literature and textbooks and journals, it is not difficult to see why so many selectively mute children are being misdiagnosed and receiving inadequate or inappropriate therapy. Unfortunately, that's like true, because people just think, oh, they're just shy, you don't need to worry at all. Well, it's not always the shyness. So, myth 1. Selective mutism is extremely rare. it's not extremely rare, but it's rare because, well, not everyone has it, obviously. That would be kind of bad. But it's mostly, like, I'm reading this, it's just lack of knowledge. That's why it's extremely rare, because it's misdiagnosed as either autism or Asperger's. Sorry. So it's not extremely rare. That's what I would say. Myth number 2. Selectively mute children are typically severely emotionally disturbed, usually because they have suffered abuse, neglect, or trauma. Now, while this isn't exactly correct, I mean, I guess it could happen, but not. Now, I'm not an expert on this. Well, I kind of am, but I'm just saying, like, I guess you could become selectively mute from this, but it's not usually. It's usually just some brain thing that I don't think we really know how it happens. It just happens. Myth 3. Families of children with selective mutism are typically dysfunctional. That is not true, because it has nothing to do with the parents or the family. It has nothing to do with them. It's just because, like, well, it's not the family's decision. It's like, oh, hey, let's make our children very awkward and not talk in public to other people. Yeah. So really, that's no excuse. Myth number 4. Selectively mute children use their silence as a form of passive aggression, manipulation, or defiance. That's not true, really. It's because the child is afraid to speak, not because they're using it to their advantage. Because it says it's a speech phobia. Sorry. So you can't just assume, oh, they're just doing this for manipulation. It's not always. But if you want to know that, just like ask a teacher or something, like another adult that your child is like with most of the time, like a teacher, like I said, because they would know. Like, if your child is like isolated from everyone else, then they're not doing it for an act. But if they're not isolated, they're talking perfectly to everyone in the room and calling out and disrupting class, yeah, I don't think they have it. Myth 5. Selective mutism is extremely difficult to treat. It's like in the first sentence, it says, historically this may have been true, but now it's not. It's not extremely difficult to treat. You may or may not ever grow out of it, but that doesn't mean it's extremely difficult to treat. Like, there's medications out there, and I have them. Like, there are great medications that work. I have to take like 4, I think. Yeah, 4. Just so I'm comfortable not, so I can walk out the door without feeling, I can't do this, I need to go home. Myth 6. Selective mutism is really just severe shyness. Most children will grow out of it. That is not always true because there is severe shyness, of course, but, well, you don't just grow out of it. I haven't grown out of it. Like, I don't have it as bad as I used to, but that's not the point. I mean, that's, like, I didn't get help until I was, like, in 3rd grade. I was 9, I'm pretty sure. Let me just do the math. Wait, maybe not. Okay, I was like 8. Never mind, I was 8. I didn't get help until then, and well, I was in 3rd grade, and well, no offense, I kind of hated my 3rd grade teacher after that for doing it, because she ended up putting me in, getting me tested, which is good and all, but I was put into the IEP, which is the Individualized Educational Program, and it's not fun. And I was basically, I'm not bragging, but I was the only one who could read. At the time, I was like, why am I in here? I don't need to be in here. I don't want to. There's a few I don't agree with, obviously. So, Miss 7. Adults who work with selectively mute children should let the children know that there is a firm expectation for speech. That is really not true. It even says in the first sentence 6, the expectation of speech is a trigger of severe paralyzing anxiety for selectively mute children. Which basically, it's like, oh, you have to talk, otherwise, I don't know, but, you have to talk. It's just like, I mean, I had all these people before and after I was diagnosed with, like, oh, you have to. Or the kids were like, come on, Hannah, talk. And I was like, basically, because of course I didn't know, and then unfortunately it wasn't treated early enough, so now I only have like 2 best friends, and I do have a couple of friends, but I only really have 2 best friends, so it's kind of sad when you think about it, because, well, all this time I was basically being bullied by these people who thought something was wrong with me, which there was, but it wasn't that bad. And then Myth 8. Selective mutism is a form of autism or is on the autism spectrum. No, it's definitely not a form of autism, that I know. There are 2 incredibly different things. But, like, I don't know for sure if it's on the autism spectrum. My mom thinks it is, but I don't know. Also, happy Mother's Day out there to those moms. Wait. To all those moms out there. So, I'm not exactly sure on that one, but I know it's definitely not a form of autism. Myth 9. Selectively mute children tend to be below average in intelligence. This is not true, apparently. It remains to be proven, but most clinicians, that's not how you say it. But most doctors that work with large populations of selectively mute children believe that they tend to be above average in intelligence, and that many of them are gifted. Again, more research is needed. Now, I don't think I'm above average in intelligence. I'm not exactly sure what my IQ is. I thought I was tested when I was going through all those tests in 3rd grade. And I'm in 9th grade now, and I got another test because I was actually supposed to get in 6th grade, but the stupid, what are they called? Shoot, what are they called? I don't know what they're called, but, case manager. Like, no offense, but they were like, oh, she doesn't need to be tested. We already know she needs to stay in here for the rest of her life. They didn't actually say that last part, but for the rest of her life. That's what it feels like. So I was tested again this year, or last year I should say, 2015, at kind of the beginning of the year. Or maybe not. Maybe I just forgot. And having the bra showing. Whatever. So I tested again, and unfortunately I'm still in it, which I really hate because I don't want to be in it in college. Like, what are the job people? What are the employers gonna say? Oh, this person must be stupid. Going back to Myth 9, just saying, I'm just gonna say we're not below average in intelligence. Like that has nothing to do with it. Just because. So unfortunately I'm still in the resource room, another name for it. And for all classes, for math, science, English, and history, which I'm going into the mainstream classes for history next year, but for math I'm going to be in Algebra 1 Part 2 instead of just Geometry 1. Like, this year I should have been in Algebra 1 but no, this year I'm in Algebra 1 Part 1. I just have English, and then science. But I was only in it for, like, let's see, I've been in it for six years, but I've had it only for math and English or language arts for 5 years. So this is different. When I heard that I had it for science and math and history, I was like mad, beyond mad. Because it's like, what the heck? I don't need this. But apparently I do. But apparently I'm getting out of it again. Which is good. And lastly, which as soon as I read this I was like, what? Myth 10. Children with selective mutism usually don't function well in the mainstream classroom and often shouldn't be promoted to the next grade level because they aren't speaking. When I just found that myth out, I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, that is so stupid in all ways. Like, what? You can't just because someone can talk but doesn't want to, or really can't, I should say, shouldn't be not promoted to the next grade level just for speaking matters. So, really, whoever, like, made that myth up, so, I just thought this is gonna be a long video, but I'm kind of wrapping it up now. I was finding out, like, this doesn't really have, like, any not promotions, like, things, so, like, walks and charities, like, as far as I know of, like, I looked it up. It's like, why? Like, they have it for everything else but this, and this is an important matter. So, what the heck? Like, seriously, like, I'm just using this for a resource. It even says resources library. But I know a lot about it, and I even want to be a psychologist, ironically. So, whatever. I'm just kind of mad because I just want there to be walks to help promote awareness for this, because this isn't a small matter. Like, basically no one, the one after mapping intelligence, mapping up there. Bye guys, you're on the internet.